I have two fan questions that are about around the same topic. So I'm going to ask them back to back. So this is from Paul Murphy. He wants to know, how has Gord been since the passing of Gary? Gary had his own sound. I can remember being at Algonquin Park listening to Hit and Run. I'll never forget those things. Good rock guitar and that bass riff that made my spine tingle. So that's Paul Murphy's asking about Gary. And then Selge Menard says, how did it come about choosing your late bass player's son to join the band? And how does it feel to keep the band going with a part of Gary in the band through his son? So this is the upcoming tour. Ben will be joining you.
Yeah. It's interesting because Big Sugar, it was never meant to be, I guess, because we didn't start, as I mentioned earlier, as, four mop top lads who played in their dad's garage and went on to, that wasn't ever us. There's always been, I've had guys much older than me. I've had guys much younger than me in the band. It's intergenerational. Our music appeals, like, you can take your dad to the show, you can take your son to our show, and people from different generations, just because it's not like a cliche sound of a decade. We didn't sound like the 90s in the 90s. Now we might represent your memories from the 90s, but look around, like, nobody sounded like us. We didn't sound like anybody. We weren't singing about the same stuff. We weren't dressing the same. Nothing about it screams the 90s. That's when we had success. Great. But we've continued to do stuff and challenge ourselves. And I don't know, maybe just from being true to our artistic vision, the fact that I can now go out with a band where the guys are 23 and 21, trying to keep up with me, and we have this great musical experience where their youth and enthusiasm and openness to new experiences, and those are the strength. A 21-year-old guy who played university football or whatever, they're big boys. They're strong young lads. I'm like, yeah, man, you got to be strong to keep up with me. I've got old guy strength. Watch out, man. I can play a guitar for 12 hours. It doesn't mean nothing to me, but I burn through musicians pretty hard. It's hard to keep up with me. I don't, it's like I fought in a real war kind of generation of musicians. So it's good to expose younger guys to that kind of philosophy and that commitment level, and hopefully my young guys, take up that challenge, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. I have a lot of optimism about it, and it's pretty great to have Gary's kid. Big Sugar is a family business, like, intergenerational family is important. We have more important things than we have to have guys who look a certain way or dress a certain way. It's like, no, you just have to fit Big Sugar.
I have one last thing about Gary, and then we'll move forward. So on December 28th, 2018, the date of Gary Lowe's birthday, Big Sugar played a tribute concert in Toronto. I have a quick audio clip from someone that performed that night. So this is Julian Taylor, who found success with Staggered Crossing and has gone on to have an amazing solo career, culminating in 2 Juno nominations recently for his last album, The Ridge. So this is Julian Taylor. He didn't just type, he sent me an audio. So here we go.
Gordie Johnson is one of the greatest musicians that has ever come out of Canada. I remember first seeing him around the time when he was playing at Grossman's Tavern. We used to go there and hang out a little bit, and I was in awe of his sheer guitar skills and his knowledge of blues, reggae, and roots music. As I got older and we got signed, it was so amazing to be on the same management firm that they were on, because we ended up doing a bunch of shows with them across Canada a few times. We remained friends, and Gordie is certainly one of those people out there in the industry who's supported me in my career for a long time. Love him and his family. loved Gary, and I was very honored to be part of the tribute concert at the Danforth Music Hall when that happened back in 2018. It was a beautiful night for a beautiful guy. Really happy to see his son playing bass with Big Sugar now. So sending all my love to Gordie Johnson and fam, and I hope to see you soon, pal. Bye.
JT, very nice. Yeah, we love Julian. And I'm so glad to have kept that we've been able to reconnect and keep making music. And we've done some nice things together even recently. So yeah, it was a real treat to have Julian on the Gary tribute show. We had so many amazing friends that came out and sang in tribute to Gary, from like Leroy Sibbles flew up from Jamaica. The Dream Warriors came out. It's amazing, you know, guys from the Bare Naked Ladies, Sloan, like just so many different artists from different genres and backgrounds and eras, all coming out to tribute Gary, not just for his work with Big Sugar, but all of the great work that he did over decades. And he was a big influence on a lot of people, you know. But what an emotional night, just everyone there out of love. We had 50 guest performers in one night. I don't know how we pulled it off. I guess we pulled it off. I don't know how we pulled it off exactly, but
I guess everyone wanted to come out and share their love and pay their respects and do what they can.
Yeah, it was an amazing night and a fitting tribute to Gary. But I carry Gary with me in my heart all the time. He was the last guy standing from the old days with me. We came up together, you know, around the same time, and he was one of the last guys of that era that was with me in the band still. So we had a lot of common experiences and common history and common musical philosophies, life philosophies. There's a lot of things where, especially as Gary got older, even after he got sick, where our meeting of the minds really became very in sync. You know, we'd always had a musical intuition that we shared, but it was almost like an unspoken thing after Gary got sick. And he had known he was sick for a long time, and we really did take advantage of the time we had together in the studio. I flew him down to Texas and just get him out of the hard weather and you know, just try to get him some comfort. But Gary was definitely someone who, although he was a very proud person, and he was a person who had a lot to be proud of as a person and as a musician. But, you know, in the studio, there are songs, now that I'm looking back at older records, I played bass on half of it when Gary Lowe was sitting right there. It never mattered to either one of us who played the bass, me or him, because it was more about who's got the best vibe for the song. I mean, once it's recorded and we'll learn it and we'll play it like that from now on, it's fine. But there are some songs I've noticed going back through old recordings and old audio files and stuff where I played bass on the bridge of a song and Gary played the rest of the bass on the song. So we're even playing bass on the same songs.
There's no ego there.
No hard feelings, no ego. We would just pass the thing back and forth until one of us, oh, that's the good vibe. Yeah, okay, no, that's really good. Sometimes Gary would learn what I just played and play it. Other times Gary would play it and I would learn it. And I mean, just it didn't matter. Music was just supposed to be like free running water in a stream. You know, you don't want to block its path. Just let it flow and good things come from it, you know.